Welcome to the Weekends Over podcast. I'm your host, Alex. I'm here with Taylor. Taylor, say hello.
What's up?
Max, say hello.
What up?
And we'll go ahead, just jump right into it. Last week, we did not do good on picks. So, Taylor, I want you to tell everyone about that.
I hope none of you that the few that watched used our picks because if we did, we lost you a lot of money. Um, Alex won the week at 4-7. Me
Let's
and Max
go.
tied at 3-8.
Not
Um,
last. Second
I'm,
place.
I'm just now. I will say this: if you followed along for like our sneaks and our locks, I think everybody's but one of Alex's sneaks didn't hit.
Both of
Yeah.
my lock and sneak hit.
Yeah,
That's like 4 or 5 weeks in a row now. I should just
Yep.
just
I
bet
mean,
those.
Well, we didn't do
also
our
We
different.
didn't
bet.
do our shit.
We didn't do our bet. Different pod though. The NFL one, my parlay hit, my prize picks almost hit too. So I almost hit everything, but I missed one on my prize picks. McCaffrey didn't score, but overall records look awful now. I'm in last place at 27-37 right now.
Ooh, not
Max
coming back.
Max is at 500 even 32-32 in the lead. Wow, I was gonna say Alex was in the lead, but I forgot. We all suck. Alex, you're in second at 30-34. Max is winning at 500. Damn.
Not bad.
I actually read
Horrible.
that like 34-30, and I was like, nope, my bad. Nope, 30-34. So yeah, we're not smart. I don't know why we talk about sports. This is probably the last episode.
Yes. But hey, this week, we got it this week.
This week.
This
This week
week.
we're hot.
This week
We're
is the
back
one.
on.
You don't ever stop gambling.
This
I mean,
is-
we were up for most of the year so far. So, we went past couple weeks have been pretty bad for us. A lot of crazy shit's been happening.
I mean, part of it's some of the games we're having to pick from.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
because this week and we're gonna have that problem this week too, really. A bunch of big lines. I don't know. That
What-
sounds like an excuse.
I wonder what our lock record is. We need a lock record.
I can come up with that and I can give it a next Monday or
Let's
Tuesday
do
whenever
a
we do
lock
it.
record because I bet
I
our
will.
lock record is a lot better. Mine's probably
do-
not, but Max's is probably like
I'll do
really good.
I'll do everything. I'll do locks and sneaks.
All the locks
separate.
because I want to figure out because I know it's been at least 3, but like I want to say it's been 4 or 5 weeks in a row, but we haven't really been keeping track of that. But
I'll go back there and
figure that out.
tally them
Mhm.
up sometime this week.
Yep. We'll go ahead and just go into the recap of last week. What happened? There really wasn't that many big games last week. Last week was kind of a dud. This week should be better. But the first thing that we'll talk about is just the LSU loss versus Florida. Did Alabama rip the soul out of that team? Are they just done now? Do they care about football anymore?
Nope. They're worrying about how to get $60 million together so they can fire Brian Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
They lost to Lagway can't even run.
Yeah.
I mean, he made good throws, but he can't even run.
Lagway is pretty good though. You
I know,
gotta
but
admit.
he's one-legged quarterback right now.
Yeah, but for him to be able to make the throws that he did and couldn't move, he's gonna be a problem in the future.
They're gonna
Yeah,
do
but-
everything that they can to keep him. They're about to because you know
Yeah.
he's about to get the bag offered to him.
Yeah.
I think since they're keeping Napier, which they've come out and said, he'll stay.
Yeah. We'll kind of talk about this a little bit later, but I mean they got Ole Miss coming into town too. That'd be 2 big back-to-back wins if they could somehow pull it
He
off.
can't move, and Ole Miss actually has a defensive line. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
that's gonna
true.
be a problem.
Yeah.
Like he can't move, and they're actually gonna make him. They're not gonna be able to hold the pocket for him like they were against LSU.
That's the thing. LSU doesn't have a dominant defensive line. They lost their
Mhm.
All-American center, and they have 2 freshman guards. So they're playing backup center and 2 freshman guards, and their interior guys. I mean, go watch the tape against Alabama. That Jihad Campbell sack. I mean, he ran right by him, and I mean, he could have slapped him in the face on his way by.
I thought he was point shaving.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
that was not good.
But
I mean for the rest of this year, I mean, if you're LSU, like, I mean, you got Vandy coming. Like, do you
Vandy
even?
and Oklahoma their last 2 games. Wow, I'll have to see the Oklahoma line
They
next
can
week.
lose to Vandy.
I think they can lose to Vandy because
Yeah.
Vandy is actually going to care about that game, and you can't tell me LSU cares about that game.
Mhm. That'd be something. Vandy goes down to Death Valley, beats LSU. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that would be something.
Would that be the greatest Vandy season of all time?
Beat Alabama, LSU, Auburn.
Almost played Texas close.
Played Texas close.
Beat
Who
Virginia
else
Tech.
beat Virginia Tech? Who else
Tech.
did they beat? They beat somebody else. No, they lost to Missouri and
They
South
lost to South
Carolina.
Carolina.
They beat Kentucky, but
everybody's beating Kentucky,
yeah.
except for Ole Miss, which
They
is the
played
craziest.
Tennessee. They played Tennessee last game.
They can still
Yeah,
beat
they
Tennessee. They
played
could
Tennessee.
absolutely ruin Tennessee's
Oh, that would be
season.
so great.
They could
if Vandy
ruin
knocked
Tennessee out.
Mm-hmm. All right, watch it. We'll see. Tennessee's got spotty offense, so that'd be the only way they'd have to do it. Anyways,
But-
Georgia handles Tennessee. Do you have anything else to add? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, since we're just talking about them, go ahead, because it was about Tennessee since you mentioned them.
Georgia handles Tennessee. It was kind of close. I thought we were going to get a really good game, but Georgia eventually just kind of took over and like let Tennessee know like who's their daddy. What are y'all's takeaways from that? I mean, anything like stand out? I mean, Tennessee first half looked good, but second half they didn't really do too much. So
When they punted the ball to start the second half after they had driven down the field, I feel like that was quitting. Like I think Tennessee's defense just ran out of gas. I think that's the first time somebody scored over 24 when they scored 24, and I know they ended up with 31. That's the most they've given up this year in a game, if I'm not mistaken. Tennessee, I don't know how their season's going to end. I mean, you can tell Tennessee's just young. I mean, if they can keep Nico and Nico stays another year, they'll be really good next year. Their offense is just not like when you talk about the top teams in the leagues and their offenses, like Alabama's, Ole Miss's, even Georgia's got like Tennessee's at the bottom. Texas, like
with
they
all
don't
these
have
other teams, you've seen flashes of their offenses being like, wow, this team can be. But Tennessee, you haven't seen that once. But other than the running back, but like
not against a good team. Not against
not
a good
against,
team.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
all
like,
of his
he'll have a good half against a good like against Bama. He had a good second half against other teams. He had good half like Georgia had a good first half, but they kind of figure it out.
I mean, but even the Bama win, like Alabama basically said, "Here, we don't want to win that game." Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, my gosh, I don't. Tennessee to me is a team that if an SEC team gets, which they are, you would think. I mean, we have a lot of scenarios coming, but I would not feel comfortable if I was Tennessee at 10-2. Like same way as if Texas loses again before the SEC championship game, because they don't have a signature win. I
They
mean,
beat us.
well, I was talking about Texas, but Tennessee. The problem with Tennessee is Tennessee's more bad luck, I guess. But Georgia and Ole Miss and Alabama are not going to get left out before them. It's just I don't know. They need to do 9 conference games. This is stupid. You got 16 teams in your league, and but Georgia bounced back. I think Tennessee, when Ole Miss beat the shit out of Georgia, Tennessee was screwed. I will say, like, and I know we were all pretty confident. Looking back on it, I don't. Now I still think
bad
they
pick.
should have stood a covered. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't think they would score 31 on them. So like I don't know, Max. I don't know. I think Max might have said something about that. Like I don't, and when we picked it last week, I can't remember, but like, well, yeah, even if they lose, I don't see them scoring enough to cover 10 or whatever it was. But they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
Georgia, I will say Georgia did get a couple lucky. Was it the back-to-back fumbles or whatever? The first one they called it incomplete, and then he fumbled again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes it's just your night. I guess Georgia doesn't lose at home at night. It is what it is.
That's a tough game for Tennessee to win, but
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's all I have on it, man. I really.
Yep. I'll say Tennessee has Vandy, and who they play this week?
Tennessee is playing like UTEP or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So watch the Vandy game. That'll be interesting to see. Vandy would love to go out and do that to them. But anyways, BYU loses to Kansas. I predicted them to lose to Arizona State. I thought that would be their loss, but Kansas beat them at home. I mean, BYU, that the only way that the Big 12 was going to get two teams in would be like a one loss, like a BYU losing in the conference championship, and then the winner getting in. So that pretty much signifies like there's going to be one Big 12 team, and that's it. No one else will get in from that
I
conference, which I'm excited about. Like, thank
I would
goodness. The BYU's
argue.
been awful.
I would argue. I don't think they. I mean, that would have been their only shot. But
Mhm.
I think
They
the
could have
only.
might not even done it either.
I don't think so. I think the ACC could have done it if it was Clemson or Miami
Mhm.
that was undefeated going into it. But the Big 12 was. I think they were always going to be a one bid.
Well,
Um.
that was the scenario I was scared
That
about.
yeah.
Like BYU undefeated, like lose by 1 point in the Big 12 championship game. What do you do then? You kick them out for that one loss. They said they're not gonna
that well.
do
Yeah.
anything to the
Now,
loser.
but
So
go look at the rankings this week, and they're already counting on Boise State being ranked ahead of their champion. And
mhm.
Boise State is ranked ahead of every single one of their teams right now at
Well,
13, and they're giving them the. Yeah, I don't think the Big 12 is going to get a bye. I think they're going to be the 12 seed
I think the only way they get a bye is
if Boise State loses.
I think
Colorado wins.
I think Colorado could jump them, or
I that's a lot of spots to jump
I
for
think
not
that
beating anybody good.
well you would eventually play BYU in the championship game, and that'd be like a top 15 win as opposed to Boise State's.
I actually think it's gonna. There's a scenario where it's Colorado, Arizona State outright. I think BYU, if they lose again,
Well, then I mean, yeah, because BYU and Arizona State play this weekend, so that's going to figure itself out. And then I think just the head to head in the championship game would make them jump Boise State because who's Boise State going to play in their championship game?
Colorado, yeah, I think it's UNLV. Colorado,
UNLV's ranked too though, so
yeah, so I think it's UNLV. So Colorado really should be pulling for BYU to win out to play them because I don't think
mhm.
if Colorado played Arizona State and beat Arizona State, it would bump them up enough. Especially
Yeah.
because um after that loss, I don't know if Arizona State would be ranked, and I don't know, is UNLV ranked ahead of Arizona State right now too?
No.
They're not, but they're close, correct?
Uh,
There's
UNLV's
24 and 20,
24. I
and
think
then
Arizona
Arizona
State's
State's
21.
21. Yeah, they're close. I hope I'm right on that. I mean, I would assume it's UNLV that they're going to play. That's the second best team in that conference. They don't do divisions
Arizona
anymore.
State's 21. BYU's 14, and then we don't have UNLV on the dock, but I'm pretty sure they're 24. I think I said it right before this.
I the Big 12. I don't know. I want Colorado to get in. To be honest with you,
That'd be the most fun team to get in. That'd be
I
the
mean,
most
I still
fun.
think it'd be wild to do like a if like Ohio State.
What'd you say?
What'd
I
you
think
say?
they have a shot at beating someone.
Hmm.
You
It
know, a
depends on who
real
they get
shot. I
matched
mean, it
up.
depends on who they get matched up with, but like at least, like I just
You
it's
get Penn State in that 5 shot, Colorado at a 12.
The problem is I think the five's either going to be so Bama's not going to be the five because they're either going to be the two or they're going to lose again, so they'll be like the 7 or the 10. I think Bama's going to end up being the 2 though. So if Bama ends up being the 2 and say they beat Texas, Texas would be the 5, and that was their only loss. Like that, Texas would probably be the 5.
I
But
think it'll be a
Ohio State, Oregon are destined for a rematch, and I think either the loser's going to
Fun,
be the 5.
fun
yeah.
scenario. Indiana beats Ohio State, loses to Oregon. Indiana's the 5. Then they get Colorado.
Oh
I
my
like
gosh, that's what
that's a fun
Colorado
one.
wants to happen.
That's what
Yeah,
Colorado wants. Yeah.
yeah, that's what Colorado really wants to happen.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, we're getting into playoff scenarios now, but yeah, there's a lot of shuffling, and the seeding makes it confusing because you know
Hmm.
everybody would want to be the 5 and play Boise State or play Colorado probably, but like
We gotta
yeah,
wait. We
I
gotta
mean
stop. I'm about to because I have other scenarios going in my head right now.
yeah,
And I was like, ooh,
and
that
we're
could
doing
be
a whole
fun.
segment. We're about to do a whole
Yeah.
segment on this. Max,
Last,
you want to talk about Alabama or something?
yeah, I was
Is
gonna
that what we
say,
had?
talk about the best team in the SEC right now. Who do you think it is?
Alabama.
This week, especially this weekend, I was thinking, I really don't want to go to the SEC championship game. I don't want to go play Texas, but my mind has completely changed. I'm saying fuck it, fuck you. Let's go win the SEC championship. Let's go get the fucking trophy. We'll beat Texas ass. And if we lost and they kicked us out, whatever, fuck it. It is what it is. We try, but I don't think they would. I
They're
think
not going to.
as long as we don't get blown out, which I highly doubt we would. I don't see a scenario where we would. But the only reason why I hope it's Texas A&M other than Texas is because Texas has Quinn Ewers and he can light defenses up.
He's done it to
and
us.
he's done it to us before. So that's my only hesitation where it's like, Texas A&M is good. They have a good defense, good run game, whatever. But the quarterback doesn't light people up like that, And our secondary is kind of, is young and iffy. That's the only reason, really. But even if now I'm kind of accepted the fact that we're going to play Texas, and
bring it
I
on.
don't think, yeah, bring it on. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I think we
can I
can beat
say
them,
something? Can I say something? And I'm not being a smart aleck, but because just by the scenario now, like y'all have to go play for the SEC championship because if
Oh
you don't,
yeah,
that means you're not making the playoff because that means you
Mhm.
lost either. Like if y'all went out, what you have to do, you go to the SEC title game.
yeah, it doesn't matter.
So like you have to.
we have like a 70% chance that like we're gonna go like
No, I
the
think it's
only way
official.
we don't is if Missouri
Beats
loses the last.
Mississippi's. Yeah,
They have to lose to Mississippi State and
state.
Arkansas.
They have to go 0-2. Like they have
Yeah,
to go 0-2. I think that would then
So weird how that
send.
works.
Well, that would then
yeah. That
send
would send
on
Georgia.
Georgia. It would then send Georgia.
Let's
Yeah.
go Mississippi State and Arkansas.
But here's the crazy thing though. Say if Mizzou lost to Mississippi State and Arkansas, and then Texas A&M beat Texas, it would be Alabama Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, so Bama's
Like we're fucked. Like
you have to have a perfect scenario not to go.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, shout out Lane Kiffin for flat out saying he don't want to play in that shit.
But honestly, I'd
Did you
rather
see?
play.
Did you?
Yeah, I saw what Lane said. Yeah.
Lane was
He's
like,
like,
I
yeah.
want to play in that shit.
Lane's in a good spot though. He's not gonna go.
They're in a perfect spot. They
got a
can
tough
win out.
game. They got a tough game.
Yeah, they do.
We'll talk about it in a minute. I don't know how tough it is when Lagway's playing on one leg, but
Florida's tough. Florida's tough, no matter what.
11 a.m. though, kind of. I don't know.
That's
Alabama's probably, if you wanted to be an SEC team right now, I think it'd be Alabama, just because of your schedule and everything. Like Texas, they don't need to lose again, and I get it. They only have one loss, but they got to play at A&M in 6 days or whatever it is, or 14 days or whatever.
They play Kentucky this weekend, and then they play
Yeah,
Texas A&M last game of the year.
in A&M, and
Yeah.
now that's interesting. I mean, that's a trouble spot for Texas because, somebody they always like, well, they circled this game. A&M's probably had this game circled for 10 fucking years when they stopped playing them, when they left the conference.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that I don't know. I wouldn't want to. That's the reason I think Bama's in the best spot compared to anybody, and that's why I think they're the team you would want to be if you could choose. Say you could choose your team to have that resume and be in that spot, you'd want to be Alabama.
The only other team I'd rather be would be Ole Miss.
Yes, Ole Miss.
That'd be the only other one.
Maybe Ole Miss because they can win out and don't have to worry about the SEC title game.
Mhm.
And I think Ole Miss also can win out, and there's a chance they can even host. So like they could get to the 8 line
Mhm.
because Georgia's not going to jump them at all. Because they beat the shit out of them. That was huge because if they had barely beat them, they probably would have just chalked it up to a home game. But they beat them by 18. We're already getting into the stuff, so.
We'll go to Heisman odds. I mean, Travis Hunter, is he the lock now? Is it him?
It's going to be Travis or it's going to be Jackson Dart's going to get invited. Who do you think is going to get invited? It's probably only going to be 3 guys this year.
I don't think it's going to be Jackson Dart. I think it's going to be Cam, Ashton, and Travis Hunter. I could think of maybe Dylan Gabriel, but I think Travis, Ashton, Jenny, and Cam Ward. I think those are the 3. I don't think Jackson Dart gets invited.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Travis Hunter should win it.
Yeah, I mean,
if he doesn't,
two-way.
If he doesn't, everybody's stupid because the voters are stupid. They don't know what a 2-way player is because if they're going to go, well, his stats are only half good this, half good that. Well, fucking, he plays 2 positions. I don't think we have ever had anything like this in a long time, if ever. So give him the Heisman, put it in the history.
Is there anyone that y'all think might be able to sneak it over? Maybe Ashton Genty if he has like
Dylan Gabriel, just because if Oregon wins out and wins the Big Ten championship game.
Mhm. Let's say Ashton Genty, if he can put
I
up some 250-yard games, maybe for like 3 touchdowns, 250 yards each.
man, I don't believe Boise State. They're gonna get destroyed by whoever they play in the playoff.
Yeah,
They really are because all they
Yeah.
do is run the ball. And go tell me a defense in there that you can just run straight at.
Colorado.
Yes, that would be their only
That'd be the one.
Colorado. Well, you gonna tell me you're gonna go run a bunch of A gap runs against Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee at Ole Miss's defensive line, and that's gonna work?
No, nope.
Or
That'd
or
be
even
the
Penn
only team.
State, or maybe even Penn
Penn
State.
State.
Like,
Penn State
yeah,
would. Let that happen
I
either.
guess maybe Indiana, but
Hmm. All right.
um,
We'll get into like college football playoff. They released it today, so we'll kind of go over it together and see what everybody thinks. So the number 1 seed, Oregon, 2 seed Texas, 3 seed Miami, and then 4 is Boise State. So Boise State moves up.
do the top 10 real quick because it is confusing. Do the actual top 10 that's on the side because I mean,
Okay.
you see
Trying
what
to
I'm
see.
saying? Because like I think Miami's like 9 or something like that,
Yeah,
really.
but
But
they're
it's
at 4.
yeah.
They're
So
at 3, excuse me. Yeah. Okay. I
yeah,
mean, 1 Oregon, 2 Ohio State, 3 Texas, 4 Penn State, 5 Indiana, 6 Notre Dame, 7 Alabama, 8 Miami, 9 Ole Miss, 10 Georgia, uh, 11 Boise State. No, excuse me, 11 Tennessee, 12 Boise State, 13 SMU, 14 BYU.
and Tennessee's out, of course, because Boise State takes their spot.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
or
But
I'm sorry, not Boise State. Yeah, Boise State takes their spot. The 11's out. They're in the Georgia spot again.
mhm. Let me go through the rankings now, like what seed everybody is. So, like I
Okay.
said, 1 Oregon, 2 Texas, 3 Miami, Boise State up to 4. The number 5 team is Ohio State. Number 6 is Penn State. 7 is Indiana. 8 is Notre Dame. 9 Alabama. 10 Ole Miss. 11 Georgia, and then 12 is BYU, the Big 12 champion. So one of the matchups, I mean, just looking at the matchups right now, from these, you got Ole Miss playing Indiana, Georgia playing Penn State, Alabama playing Notre Dame, and then Ohio State playing BYU. I wouldn't see an SEC team losing. I would think Ole Miss beats Indiana, Georgia beats Penn State, and then Alabama beats Notre Dame. I mean, do y'all have anything like? Do y'all disagree?
No, but that's exactly how they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want out. They don't want SEC teams playing each other in the first
They're
round.
going to set up like their goal, like because it's if you remember it, that so the 4 first round games, 1 happens Friday night, and then 3 happen on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Like in that scenario, you could 100% like I could see them putting the BYU Ohio State game on like that Friday night, and then you have a full day where you can do Ole Miss Indiana at 11, uh, and then pick whatever you want to do, Georgia Penn State at night or Alabama Notre Dame at night, but one of them 2:30. That's just a ratings thing. I've seen a bunch of people talk about how they're going to seed them for matchups and everything, and I'm like, well, they're going to seed them SEC versus Big Ten just for the. But no, I think the SEC teams would be favored in all those.
For sure. I think
I,
Ohio State would absolutely blow the doors off BYU. I don't think that's close.
that would be
That's
ugly.
like a
I'd rather that be
40-10 game.
Colorado. I'd rather that be Colorado because Colorado could at least probably stay in the game with their offense.
Score, yeah, they'd scored some points at least. But let's go like into the next round. I mean, you got Ohio State versus Boise State, then Alabama versus Oregon, Georgia, Miami, and then Ole Miss versus Texas. I mean, first of all, you gotta love Ohio State's position. I mean, they play BYU, then
Even
Boise
Boise
State.
State, my
I mean, the
gosh.
5 seed is getting blessed, no matter who it is. So of course, I think Ohio State kills Boise State, and then Alabama and Oregon.
Well, let's skip that one real quick because that one's good. Georgia would beat the shit out of Miami, and
Yes.
then I also think that okay, so then now talk about because the other 2 are actually
Okay,
interesting.
Ole Miss, Texas. I mean, we didn't get to see
Yeah,
that this year. Lane
that
Kiffin versus Steve, the
hey
battle of the.
Archie versus Ole Miss, Archie versus Ole Miss.
Yeah. Hey, did you know both those coaches were coaches under Nick Saban? I don't know if you knew that, but
Who's Nick Saban?
Max, what do you think? I mean, do you think? I mean, Ole Miss versus Texas. Who would you take?
this point, you got to take Ole Miss is the way their defensive line looked at against Georgia.
I think I'd take Ole Miss. That would be the Sugar Bowl. How they're so like they're gonna do they do those. They give each the seed the choice, so they're gonna put the top 4 seeds close to home. So Boise State would get the Fiesta. Oregon would be the Rose Bowl. So Oregon, Alabama would be at the Rose Bowl. Miami and Georgia would be at the Orange Bowl or the Peach Bowl. I'm sorry, the Orange Bowl is not is the semifinal. So, and then you would think Ole Miss, Texas would be the Sugar. So Ole Miss would actually probably, that would sell
They would
because
love that.
that would sell, yeah.
So yeah, I would
So
probably
Alabama,
take Ole
Oregon
Miss.
at the Rose. How about Alabama, Oregon at the Rose Bowl?
The guy that we tried to get, Lanning versus DeBoer. I mean, that'd
We
be
didn't try to get Lanning. We
Oh,
called DeBoer only DeBour.
True.
I think Alabama, Oregon might be the game of the playoffs.
That one would be a lot of fun. I think Dylan Gabriel might slice and dice us. But I also think, I mean, we saw what Ohio State they could score on Oregon, so there's no doubt that we can score on Oregon. It'd be just a battle of what quarterback is better, like what quarterback would play better.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I
Oregon
think
for being the 1 seed, God, that's a shitty draw because they got to play Alabama, and then if they win that, they're gonna probably play Ohio State for a third time.
mhm,
Like, and if they're the 1 seed, that means they had already beat them twice, and then that means they even if they beat Alabama, like I mean, come on, dude. Like,
that's tough. That's really tough.
Georgia as the 11 seed has a better draw, playing more games than damn Oregon as the 1.
Yeah.
That's a tough draw.
I would probably take, I mean, I'm going to take Alabama. Bama fan. So let's just say Alabama, Ohio State, and then Ole Miss versus Georgia, the rematch.
Georgia versus Alabama national
That'd be a
championship.
national championship. That'd be so funny.
Well, Georgia's beating Ole Miss the next time they play.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident Kirby is going to beat.
Yeah, I believe that too.
We didn't really talk much about the teams out. Obviously, Tennessee got left out.
Tennessee needs to pull for Army or USC very hard because Notre Dame is
Notre
not
Dame's
getting
out with another loss. Yeah.
but they're not getting left out with one. Another thing is if you're Tennessee, you're pulling for Oklahoma to beat Alabama somehow, or
You want
Auburn
someone else. You need someone to lose. Yeah.
or Florida to beat. Like, you're a big Florida fan.
Georgia Tech fan. I mean,
Texas A&M to beat Texas. Ironically, you probably want Texas A&M to beat Auburn this week, so then they can go into that game playing for something and then beat Texas. You want because I think if it comes down to now, let me ask you this: if Texas loses to Texas A&M and they're 10-2,
they're out. They don't have a good
Tennessee's 10-2. Who do you put in? Tennessee.
Tennessee has a better.
I think so.
Yeah, I think you put Tennessee in.
But I think those are the two teams that are going to like. They would be one of those two teams that get left out at 2 losses.
One thing I was thinking: how far can Notre Dame move up?
They can't really.
You don't think so? You think they're
not because if they wouldn't have lost to here, ironically, you know it's funny if they just lost
if they would have.
So the 5 spot, if they didn't lose to NIU, is theirs. I mean, I think that was established without it being established since they can't get a top 4. Normally, if they're in at 11-1 or 12-0, they're going to be the 5. But I think since it's NIU, I don't think they're going to move them up over. I don't know. It's going to get tricky because you got to remember Indiana's probably going to lose. What happens to Indiana when they lose? I mean, like, I don't think they can get up to the 5, but the 5 is. I kind of think the whole point of the 12 seed being like that was, all right, Notre Dame, we can't give you a bye, but we'll give you. If you go undefeated, you get to play Boise State or something like that. But I don't think they can get up to the 5 this year. Yeah. That's in my opinion. I don't know, Max. What do you think?
I was gonna say one last thing. I mean, SMU is getting absolutely killed in this. I mean, they're projected to be.
It doesn't matter. They have to win the ACC.
I mean, the thing is, like, they're number 1 in the ACC right now. So why are they not the 3 seed?
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't make sense to me.
Technically, they should be the 3 seed right now.
That actually doesn't make sense to me. I just thought of that.
They don't have an ACC loss.
I think they're projected. I don't understand.
This isn't supposed to be. I mean, this is supposed to be right now, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe it is their projection, but yeah, technically SMU should be 3, and Miami should probably be out right now. But hey, more power to them. Sorry, SMU, that sucks. Yeah, but I mean, we already talked about Colorado possibility getting there if they win out. That'd be fun to see. Colorado, that's the team I kind of projected like at the beginning of like when we first did that was that, and Taylor had SMU. So
Well, let me ask you this now, because you've by pointing this out, you've pointed Miami is ranked inside the top 12. So if they're treating them as the nine, like they're the 9 seed right now, correct? Or are they the 10? They're the 9 on that side. What
they're
does it
the
have?
eight.
They're that. Okay, well that's telling me that.
You have to throw another SEC team out. You throw Georgia
Well,
out.
I don't know if they lose again, they'd probably drop them out.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what they're doing. Like
But
no
you
matter
know what?
what, there's
You know what
only
it told me though is if they just wouldn't have lost to Georgia Tech and would finished with one loss, they would have done 2 ACC teams.
Thank God that's not going to happen. Okay, we've been laying on that for a little bit. We'll go ahead and go into our pick'ems. Um,
This was a
oh,
tough week.
there's some good games in here actually. I think these are some fun
We've
games.
tried to put everything in here that has playoff implications. So I put all the two Big 12 matchups, whatever. Well, you'll see.
First one that we'll do is Ole Miss at Florida. Mississippi is favored by 10.5. The total is 55.5. Max, we'll go to you first.
You gotta give me Ole Miss. I gotta go Ole Miss. I want to say Florida. Obviously, Florida's been playing better. I think Ole Miss offense is too much. I think they'll win by 11 at least.
Okay, Taylor.
I agree. Ole Miss minus 10.5.
I have
They won't ever like the problem is going to be like, yeah, I get it. Lagway looked good, but like we said earlier, he's going to be in hell with that defensive line.
so that's why I'm going with Ole Miss. I think it's more their defense that's going to be able to get to Lagway. Lagway being a little bit less mobile. I think Ole Miss will handle them. Or this could be one of those scenarios where Lane Kiffin fails once again. But this year he actually got his big win. So let me just go with Ole Miss. I think they have the better team. They have the better
I mean,
offense. They have a better
yeah, because here
defense.
the thing is I could see even if Florida's defense, which is good, held Ole Miss to 24 points, I still think they could easily cover that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could absolutely see Florida struggling to score 10 points in this game.
Yeah. Okay, Taylor, go to you next. Kentucky at Texas. Texas is 20.5 point favorites. Total is 46.5. I will say Texas did struggle at Arkansas. They pulled it out. I was saying the whole time this past week, this is the game that's going to go over, and it was 20-10. So I think the over under was like 60 or something, and I was dead wrong. But Kentucky at Texas, how do you
You said
feel?
the over is 46.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna do the over. But if I had to pick a line, I would take Texas to cover. But my pick is gonna be the over 46.5.
Okay, Max.
Yeah. Kentucky money line.
Plus 800.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
No, Texas. Yeah, Texas. 20.5. Ooh, yeah, Texas covers 20.5.
that's
Kentucky
why I just went
sucks.
with the over. I didn't want to
I'll go with a Texas spread.
Florida because I mean, like I know the first thing you're gonna say is like they got a good defense, but Florida did too, and the thing was like 35-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
Give me. Kentucky has a horrible offense.
I don't know if they'll score.
They got a decent. Give me the under. Give me the under for
So
this
me
game.
and you going over versus
Yeah,
under. Okay.
give me the under. I think Kentucky's defense will be good enough to slow. I mean, they're not going to slow them down, but they can hold them under 35. And then I think Texas can keep Kentucky under to 10 at least.
I kind of
35
like
10
your
game
strategy. I kind of like your strategy.
strategy.
Strategy. Ooh, buddy, I'm tired.
Colorado at Kansas. I didn't know this was at Kansas. I thought this was at Colorado, and this kind of has me a little bit more worried about it because Kansas just got
Hey,
the big win.
shout out Big 12 this week. They got the watchability for the top 2 games is
Yeah,
there.
Kansas playing a lot better. What's their quarterback's name?
I can't remember.
It's some common,
I'm
not
Pluck
common.
McGee.
That's not his name.
Oh,
Did you say butt fuck McGee?
I don't
maybe.
know. But give me
QB10.
Colorado. Give me Colorado. Colorado covers 2.5. Please, Colorado, don't do it. Just win the game. We want everybody's rooting for you now. No one's. I don't think anyone's heading against Colorado anymore. I think they want them to be there because they're fun to watch. So, Max, what do you think?
Colorado covers 2.5. Kansas, they've been a nice little streak here, but I don't think Colorado since Kansas has they beat BYU, you know, Colorado is not gonna overlook them. So I got Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Taylor.
I almost did it, but I'm not going to. I almost took Kansas money line,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to. Colorado 2.5. This scares me for them.
Yeah, I don't like the game.
Kansas is another team where people look at their record but if you look like at their S&P rankings, like it's like them and Auburn and UCF, they're all supposed to be like 8-win teams. And now that Kansas finally won a big game, that might open the floodgates. But
All the games they lost have been close. They've been
Colorado
close.
needs to make sure this is Colorado doesn't want this to be a close game or a low scoring game. You do not if it's low scoring, then I feel bad for doing this, but I'm take Colorado 2.5. But Colorado just needs to go out there and score a bunch of points.
Mm-hmm. I agree. BYU at 21, 14 BYU at 21 Arizona State. Yeah, we'll go to you for this one. This is the game I've been saying this whole time that I thought Arizona State would win and knock BYU off, but they already got knocked off. So what do you think?
Arizona State covers, what is it?
3.5.
3.5. Arizona State covers 3.5. I actually think Arizona State is going to win the Big 12. I want it to be Colorado, but I actually think it's going to be Arizona State.
They'll throw a wrench into everything. Max, what do you what do you say?
Give me BYU money line.
Ooh.
Bounce back game?
Bounce back game. BYU tries to stay in it.
Give me Arizona State. I've been saying it this whole time. Arizona State's got a really good team, actually. BYU, I mean, they just been playing bad, like really bad recently. So I just don't trust them anymore. Give me Arizona State covers 3.5.
Dillingham probably gonna get some job offers out of this
Mm-hmm.
from in the SEC Big Ten. I would assume. Say if like I don't know Kentucky came open, may or may not heard something about that, but yeah. So those are interesting to watch because I think basically so whatever it is whoever wins each of those two games is like has the fast track. They control their own destiny after that to go to the Big 12 championship game. So if it happens like that, then it would be Arizona State versus Colorado or Colorado versus BYU or I'm sorry, out of those three, Kansas has nothing to do with Big 12.
Yep. Iowa State at Utah. Iowa State's favored by 7.5. I don't really care about this game at all. Iowa State.
You know why I put it in there though? I think they can still make the Big 12 championship.
Iowa State can. I know Utah can. I know Iowa State's kind of watching now, but at Utah's tough. Rocco or whatever his name is, Iowa State's quarterback. You know what? Give me Utah. Give me Utah to cover the 7.5. At Utah is always a tough place to play, and I think they wanted to get one from BYU. They kind of didn't get it, but I think they'll get a big game at home. Give me Utah.
So, yeah. So looking at the standings, right now BYU and Colorado are both 6-1, and then Arizona State and Iowa State are both 5-2. So honestly, they're still kind of pretty much in it. If you're an Iowa State fan, you're a big Kansas fan, and you're a big Arizona State fan. If you get Kansas and Arizona State to win, I think Iowa State actually is back on track to go to the Big 12 championship game against Arizona State. Believe it or not. Because I was looking at their tiebreakers. It's weird. I don't know.
Who do you have?
Utah money line.
Yeah. Who do you have?
Hold on a second. I'm going to go with Iowa State bounce back.
Okay. Okay. This is a fun one to talk about right here. Army at Notre Dame. 19 Army at Notre Dame. This is the make it or break it right here for Army. If they win, I mean, it's hard not to see them making the playoffs then because this would be a huge game. That would knock Notre Dame out. Max, we're gonna go to you first. Notre Dame's favored by 14.5. They're not playing at Notre Dame, they're actually playing at the Yankee Stadium.
I thought it was in. Oh, they always play that there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This year, Notre Dame played Navy. You both picked Navy to cover.
I
I
don't
said
think I
Notre
did.
Dame. You
I
did.
didn't pick.
I
No,
remember.
I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I
Okay.
do remember this. Um, Silence. Um, Notre Dame, and I said Notre Dame would beat the shit out of Navy. This week they play Army. They will again beat the shit out of the U.S. troops. Um,
It's horrible.
Army, they're Army, and Notre Dame. They've been playing better. Their run game, their quarterback's been throwing it a little bit better. And it sucks because I fucking hate that Notre Dame's gonna make the playoff. I think if you lose to Northern Illinois, you should not make the playoff.
We get to play them
Um,
first, bro. Chill. We want to play
I
them.
mean, yeah, we'll play them first, but it still makes me sick that they're gonna make it. But I got them to cover.
Okay, Taylor.
Yeah, I was one of those people that took Navy, and then I watched the first 4 plays and went, "Fuck." I think the same reason why Navy couldn't do it, Army can't either. Um, Notre Dame is fine until they play somebody with athlete. Like if you out athlete Notre Dame, like so it's like say play Texas or Ole Miss or Alabama or something like that, Notre Dame's gonna get killed. But if you send like a Boise State or an Army or a Navy go in there and just try to run it and game control it, they're actually pretty decent. So yeah, I'm gonna take them to. I'm gonna lay them 14.5.
You know what I'm about to do.
You,
You know what
you-
I'm about to do.
are you gonna do money line or are you gonna take the cover?
Army money line.
This is stupid. You should at least take the
Listen,
14.5.
listen. I should get like double points or something, like an extra win if I do that. Like if someone's like not favored by like 14 or whatever. Anyways,
Let's
Army
create the rules.
North Texas. They had a 14-minute drive. They're gonna. I don't care what you say about ball control. They're gonna ball control the shit out of Notre Dame. And the problem with Notre Dame is they're gonna run it, so they're just gonna. It's gonna make the game really short. Army's not gonna do what Navy did. They're not gonna have 5 turnovers. That was very fluky how that happened to Navy. Army money line, get Notre Dame out and put Army in. I've been riding Army the whole time this year. Every time we did our 12 team, who'd I have? I had Army instead of Boise State. Army. Watch. Watch.
What time's the game at? 2:30.
I think so, yeah.
Uh, Probably will.
Penn State at Minnesota. Penn State is favored by 12.5. The total is 45.5. Taylor, we'll go to you first.
Oh, this is tough. Not because I think they're gonna lose, because they're not going to. But like, if you told me they won by 9 and like, what's the over under 44?
45.5.
That's a lot for what this game's gonna be.
Minnesota's offensive has been better this year.
Yeah, not when they play good teams though.
Yeah.
Um, Penn State to cover. I don't know. Penn State. Yeah, give me Penn State 12.5. Uh,
Max,
Two touchdowns.
what?
we didn't hear you.
Penn State 12.5. I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
Perfect.
This one kind of reminds me of the Wisconsin game last week. No one's really talking about it much, but Minnesota's got a decent team. I think they got 6 or 7 wins, but I just picked Army, so let me just go with a favorite. Let me go with Penn State. Penn State to cover. Next up is Wake Forest at 8 Miami. Miami's favored by 24. The total is 64.5. Miami coming back from their first loss. They had a bye week. Give me Miami. Wake Forest isn't good, so give me Miami cover 24. Taylor, you got
I
it.
shouldn't have put this one in here, but me too. Miami minus 24. Bounce back. They just lost. They'll score so much that they'll cover, even if it's like Duke-ish, like where it's like, they'll score 50 something points in this game. So yeah. Because what's the over under in this? Like 64?
Yeah,
They
64 and a
might
half.
cover that by themselves.
Yeah, they might score 50.
Yeah.
55.
Yeah.
Max,
I'll beat the shit out of Wake Forest.
Okay.
Perfect.
SMU at Virginia. SMU sneaky game. Virginia's not a bad team, but everyone did go like right on Notre Dame that Virginia's gonna be able to hold them to something. They didn't do that. SMU -9.5. Give me SMU to cover to 9.5. Max, you got it.
Yeah. Give me Virginia cover. I think SMU probably wins in a close one. I think it'll be closer than what we think.
Taylor.
SMU late cover. They win by 16. But it's
Okay.
close most of the game. Probably an ugly game, to be honest with you.
Smells ugly. Taylor, I'll go to you for this next one. Texas A&M at Auburn. You get the first one. Auburn. A&M is only favored by 2.5.
I'm trying to think what would be good here for Auburn, not for me to get the pick right. Did I take Auburn to beat Kentucky? I did, didn't I? I did. You know what? Fuck it. Give me Auburn money line. I got it. This does have Hugh Freeze special written all over it. When he's lost games he shouldn't. Texas A&M's coach can't even hide that they're looking ahead to Texas in his press conference. He's accidentally saying Texas instead of Auburn when they're asking him about the game this week. Um, Night game at Jordan Hare. It's gonna be cold ish. Rock fight, and I like the home team in rock fights. Like Auburn wins like 15-12.
Only field goals the whole game. Max, you got it.
Give me A&M cover. I don't think Auburn's offense is good enough. That's all.
I'm gonna go with A&M. I think I've gotten every single Auburn game that I picked, besides when I picked the Vandy Auburn under. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna pick the under.
You already missed. You whiffed last
Excuse me.
weekend. You've missed on every Auburn game.
No, I got the Vandy Auburn under
That's the
right.
one time you got. That's the one you got right. Every other time you've whiffed.
Okay, yeah, I hate picking the Auburn games because they suck and I don't know what to do with them. They just honestly, you know what? No, Taylor, you just pissed me off. Don't ever interrupt me during this ever again. A&M's gonna win by 30. Give me A&M by 30.
Hey, 90% of the money is on A&M right now, and the line's not moving.
Okay,
Kind of like how Georgia Ole Miss was.
give me A&M by 30.
Okay, by 30. So if it's inside 30, you don't get it.
Give me the A&M cover. A&M's gonna win.
Bitch. Oklahoma money
Alabama,
line.
go for it. Your record already sucks. All of ours do.
I was about to say you can't talk too much shit.
Alabama at Oklahoma. Bama's favored by 13.5. I actually don't like this game. It's kind of scary for me. I don't like going into Norman at night, and they have us as the night game. I wish they would have just made it like at 11 o'clock. If it's like an 11 o'clock game, I'd probably feel better. Give me, give me Alabama cover. Oklahoma hasn't been good this year, but I'm scared about it. Max.
Alabama cover. Hopefully, if we can get up early, I
Yeah,
think
that's what we got to
we'll
do.
cruise. Force Oklahoma to have to pass it, and then their offensive line's terrible, and we should get some sacks. So
Kiss of death. Alabama cover. Yeah. Wow. We'll probably all get these wrong. We're like the AFC South of college pick'em.
Last one, big game. Indiana at Ohio State. Ohio State's favored by 13.5. Who wants to go first?
I'll do it. I'm gonna be so wrong on this, but something's telling me Indiana is not gonna win, but they are going to stay in this game, and I think they're going to cover the 13.5. Just barely. They might win by 30. They might lose by 13, but I think they cover it. Something I like their coach. I like they'll play hard that whole game. It might be a case where they backdoor cover at the end when they're down 20. They're not going to quit. They're especially not going to quit because they know that they don't have to win, but just play hard. So even if you're down 20 in the fourth quarter with like 30 seconds left, a score is big. So like, yeah, I like Indiana to cover. Ohio State hasn't necessarily looked great against like say Nebraska. And even like these last couple of weeks, I know they've played such awful teams that they end up winning by a lot. But if you actually watch like the Purdue and Northwestern game, they looked kind of shitty in them for a long time until it was just those two teams have high school talent. But so they haven't played great. Um, Big noon kickoff. I think Indiana, this is their biggest game in forever. There might be their biggest game in school history.
It is.
I think they'll stay in it. So Indiana cover.
Max.
Yeah, I think they're second best team in the big. No, maybe not second or third. But we'll see how it goes this weekend with Ohio State. I just think, like Taylor said, Ohio State struggled with some teams that Indiana's handled easily. No, it's not a direct, see what's
Like,
gonna happen,
go
but
look at Nebraska, like Max just said. Yeah, go look at Nebraska.
yeah. So I just think Indiana has the offense to keep up in this game. I do think Ohio State will win it. Maybe Indiana will win it, but I think it'll be close. I'm gonna go Indiana cover.
Give me Ohio State cover. I think this is a game where it's about talent and who has the most, and I think Ohio State out talents them. I don't really think Indiana's seen anybody like Ohio State this year. They haven't faced that type of competition. Ohio State played Oregon. That was a really close game. They could have won. I mean, yeah, Ohio State has been playing pretty shitty recently, but at home, this is one of those games that are going to be like, okay, this is going to be Indiana's real awakening because no one predicted Indiana to be this good this year. I mean, the talent they have, I don't think it really compares. They're probably better coached than Ohio State, but I think at the end of the day, Ohio State will cover this.
Is their quarterback doing better?
Yeah, he's playing. He's playing.
I know, but is he like this? Has he?
They had a bye
I know
week.
he's been banged up. So
they had a bye week, so he should.
Did you see fucking dumbass Desmond Howard on the college football show today say what they should do? He said they should rest their quarterback because they'll get Florida Stated if their quarterback gets hurt in the game. So they should use their backup quarterback and lose, and then that way they're in.
So dumb. All right, that's all the games that we have. We'll go through our sneaks. I'll say mine first. Syracuse and UConn over 54.5. Both of them like to score points. I just think that game goes over 54. I think it's probably like a 33-30 game. Max, what's your sneak?
My sneak is Arizona covers 12 at TCU. They're Arizona's 4-6. They've flashed a little bit sometimes this year with their quarterback and stuff. TCU can score some points too, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be a close game, so I'm gonna go Arizona covers 12.
I can see that.
Their quarterback might portal this year somewhere big. You keep up for that.
Auburn.
Auburn.
I've heard him.
I've heard Miller Moss, and I've heard the Liberty quarterback, and they'll probably look at those are the two I've heard that they'll go after.
Who would you want?
I've always wanted to know if Fifita. What is that his name? Like, yeah, I wanted him last year. I don't know. I need to look at it some more, but somebody like that. And I wouldn't hate Salter from Liberty just because he played like under Hugh. But yeah, I like that pick, Max. I do. I like that a lot. My sneak is make sure I get this right. Missouri minus 7.5 at Mississippi State.
I like it a lot. Shut the fuck up.
Fuck you. I'm tired, man.
Missouri when you get tired, do you just turn gay?
No.
No.
No, I don't. When I get tired, I like women more.
Yeah. Yeah. Missouri minus 7.5 at Mississippi State. Drew Lock's playing. Missouri actually looked really good. We didn't really talk about it, but despite losing, not a lot of people had them staying in it with South Carolina, and they damn near almost won the game. Luther Burden catch of the year, maybe, possibly. Yeah. Mississippi State sucks. So I'm confident they win by 2 touchdowns.
I'll have you just go ahead and go into your locks.
Vandy is going to. I really took the easy way out here. I should have said money line, but LSU's has no motivation to play this game, and Vandy has all of it. So I'm going to take Vandy plus 7.5 at LSU. Diego Pavia is going to win this game while he's trying to sue the NCAA for next year just so he can try to beat Auburn again. Please go away, bro. Please just go. Put
They're gonna make
fries in the
this.
bag. I don't know. Go work somewhere. My God, dude, I'm tired of seeing you. But he will go win and well, they'll cover, but they might win. Um, LSU
Vandy's
just not having trouble caring about that
Vandy's
game.
gonna have their all-time greatest season ever.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and they watch out for them next week, Tennessee.
Yep. I have Arizona State covering 3 against BYU. I've been saying Arizona State's going to beat them since however long ago. Obviously, Kansas went ahead and did the job, but Arizona State's better than BYU, especially at home. I just like Arizona State a lot. Yeah, Max.
UAB plus 6.5 at home against Rice. UAB's 2-8. Rice is 3-7. They both suck. But UAB has Cam Shanks who can return punts and can go crazy at any time. Even if, there's still, 7, I think it'll be a close game. Yeah, I think UAB might win, but if not, hopefully they lose by less than, 6.5.
What channel can I watch that game on?
Russian national TV.
Yeah, imagine that'd be a fun game to go to. I've never been to a UAB game. I should probably go to one.
I went to a Birmingham Stallions game. That was pretty nice.
You went too. I was with you. Yeah, we should.
That's kind of like a UAB game.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, I don't know. Cam Shanks.
Pratt
I like
legend.
that. I like that. Shout out. Who do you think Pratt was going to hire?
Ben Kennedy.
From Carver. No, from Carver. What's his name?
Bobby Carr.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the one that they can afford, and he's the best available, I think.
I was about to say anybody else, they're gonna have to Bill Clark it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it out loud, but they know what I mean. To pay that.
Yep. All right. Well, that is it for this episode. Like I said, we have been doing not too well on our picks, but this is the week. This was always the week. It was projected. We knew. And
if it's not this week, it's next week.
And the next week.
And the week after that.
The next week.
We are that meme when the guy's digging for a diamond and it's right there in front of him, but this time we're about to hit the diamond.
Our record race, like I said earlier, is like the AFC South. Like fucking 32. Max is winning at 32 and 32.
Honestly, I don't think any of us are gonna miss a pick.
Well, I don't know if
we're
that's
all
possible.
going undefeated this week.
We're not missing one. None of us are. Put it into one big parlay.
Are we like multiversing this or something?
Yeah,
exactly. But this has been the Weekends Over podcast. Y'all have fun watching the games this week. Y'all have fun trying to make some money. And we'll see y'all Thursday for our NFL picks. See y'all later.